We get started here today with some Eternal format goodness. We're starting out with Willyazza versus Gill. If you guys did not check out the last stream, or if you aren't familiar, Gill is the champion from the previous tournament. They won with Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. So we'll see if they've brought something new, if they've innovated the list, or if they've just bring the same deck. It's been a few weeks since the last tournament, so we'll see how this goes. Willy playing a variant of Dialga V. Maybe probably Dialga V Starfight, I guess. This could be quite interesting. So, Gill starting that Lapras, not what you want to see. But we do have it up. Okay, see an Ultra Ball play. Switching deck for a Crobat V. A pretty good draw support Pokemon, rather. Today, we'll have 4 participants. So these matches will be best of 3 Swiss with no top cut. So no top cut today. Okay. So we see another Acrobat come down. Alright, so what do we see? We see a single metal energy in the discard pile so far for Willyazza. We see Trainer's Mail. This feels like a pretty good start. Alright. Dropping that Parallel City. Getting some basic Pokemon out of their deck. You know he's got a Crobat V in his hand, so you can draw cards off of that. Getting that Radiant Greninja. So this is a very standard build of Dialga so far, with just some tweaks from the expanded card pool. We'll see what kind of Eternal shenanigans it gets up to. Alright, there's some Eternal shenanigans. Luxury Ball. Luxury Ball says search your deck for a Pokemon, excluding Pokemon level X. Show it to your opponent and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterward. If any Luxury Ball is in your discard pile, you cannot play this card. Alright, with that said, we also are seeing a Zacian V come down. So, like Willy drew off of that Crobat, got a Zacian, or got the Luxury Ball off of it and found it that way. Which I think is actually what actually happened. Alright. So we're looking at Willy's board, and we can tell that Willy is definitely not playing the Greens engine that was pioneered by Gill last tournament. Greens is an engine in this format. Greens Exploration from Unbroken Bonds allows you to search your deck for 2 trainer cards, 2 of any trainer cards, which is pretty nifty, so long as you do not have any Pokemon in play that have an ability. Well, if you are reliant on Pokemon with Pokemon powers instead of Pokemon with abilities, you don't care. You can just use Greens however you feel like. And then Greens has access to Pokedrawer Plus, which is an item card that allows you to search your deck for any 2 cards if you play 2 at a time. So you play 2 Pokedrawer Pluses, you grab 2 cards that you want from your deck, whatever those cards are, and voila, you have what you're looking for. So it's a pretty powerful engine. You just are restricted on Pokemon with abilities. So this Greens Exploration is grabbing a double battle VIP pass. I can see it. So we see a Baltoy come down, another Baltoy, so getting that Claydol engine up and running. Claydol, a very important card in this format. And Umbreon and Darkrai GX coming down too. Very, very interesting. Umbreon and Darkrai GX. So we see the Black Lance attack for 150. This attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX. Don't apply weakness and resistance for benched Pokemon. And Dark Moon GX for Colorless Plus. Your opponent can't play any trainer cards in their hand during their next turn. If this Pokemon has at least 5 extra darkness energy attached to it, in addition to this attack's cost, your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out. Alright, so the turn has passed over to Willyazza, the Dialga player. Looks like Gill chose not to GX. Very interesting. Saving that knockout, I guess. But the turn has passed back to Gill. Gill evolves Claydol and gets some cards drawn off of that. It's like Willy is in top deck mode against this deck right now. That Silent Lab really killing the Zacian and Radiant Greninja from drawing any cards. We see a Zelf come down. A Zelf has the Time Walk Poke Power, which allows the player to find a prized Pokemon and swap it with a card in their hand. We see a second Claydol coming down. That is powerful. So Willy's going to be able to draw once again. Or not Willy, sorry. Gill is going to be able to draw once again until 6 cards in hand. That is very, very good. So to remind our players to check in on Limitless so that you do not get game losses on Limitless for failing to check in. So we're seeing a switch to that Crobat. And Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX is going to the active spot off that work point. See a Rapid Strike Energy come down. Another Greens Exploration dropped. We will see what Greens is getting this time. I'm going to lean toward Pokedraw Plus, but we shall see. Greens, again, an extremely powerful card in this format. Getting any 2 trainer cards off of Green's Exploration. So we see a Versus Seeker. And a Professor's Letter. So Professor's Letter, an item card that allows you to search your deck for any 2 energy and put them into your hand. That's any 2 basic energy, to be clear. Alright, Gill has passed the turn off to Willyazza by attacking and knocking out that Crobat. See a Trainer's Mail come down for Willy. Going to see about getting something that will help him out. Maybe looking for something like, okay, a Professor's Letter, as a matter of fact. Professor's Letter, getting 2 of those Metal Energy out of the deck, thing them so that they can be discarded and pulled in later. Yeah, Origin form Dialga V-Star with 2 attacks. Metal Blast is attacked as 40 more damage for each metal energy attached to this Pokemon. And for 4 metal and a colorless energy, 220 damage. Take another turn after this one. That is Star Chronos. That is a V-Star power. V-Star powers are 1 use per game. So you can use a GX, you can use a V-Star, but you can only use 1 of each. So if Willie does choose to use that Star Chronos, that will be the V-Star power for the game. He does not have the energy necessary to use Star Chronos. In fact, it doesn't have any energy attached to that Dialga at all. So we'll see how this is going to go. We see a Zolf come down. Going at that Time Walk Poke Power again. Searching for a prize Pokemon. We see Shaman come down. It's the Shaman from Unleashed. So Shaman has a Poke Power called Celebration Wind. Once during your turn, when you put Shaman from your hand on the bench, you may move as many energy cards attached to your Pokemon as you like to any of your other Pokemon. And then for Grass Colorless, 30 damage. Remove 3 damage counters from each of your Pokemon that has an energy attached to it. So that strategy is going to be obviously pool as much energy onto Zacian and the other Pokemon as possible. Then throw down a Shaman, rearrange the energy, and nuke something with Dialga. Unfortunately, there does not appear to be energy to nuke. Okay, we see a metal energy come off of that Raihan. Raihan attaching that metal energy to the origin form Dialga V-Star. Raihan says if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during a previous turn, you may attach a basic energy to one of your Pokemon. And then search your deck for a card. Looks like the card that was searched out was Computer Search. We're going to discard 2 metal energy with that Computer Search. Then using Computer Search to find something else. Definitely pooling that energy into the discard pile to get it ready for later use. Making a tough decision about what to grab there. Did find the card that they wanted, so they grabbed it. We see a Metal Saucer, double Metal Saucer come down onto that Dialga. Shaman, remember Shaman's Celebration Wind is a Poke Power, not an ability, so the Silent Lab will not shut off that Poke Power. We do see the Dialga come to the active spot with 5 energy on it. The Float Stone allowing the Radiant Greninja to retreat for free. Radiant Origin form Dialga V-Star kind of getting buried by energy there, but we do know what Pokemon that is. So we're going to probably see a Star Chronos here, I would have to imagine. And Star Chronos again will do 220 damage, will not knock out that Urshifu V, but it will get another turn for Willie to get that knockout. Yeah, there's a 6th energy. Maybe they're going for a Metal Blast. That would be 240. Oh, wait, is that not the VMAX? Oh, it's not. Wait, it is. Right? It was the VMAX. I am missing something. I am missing something for sure. 6. It's only 280. 4 is 24 plus 40 base is 280. Did the Urshifu already have damage on it? I am missing something. Okay, Gill has scooped this game. Fascinating. Okay, so we're going to another game. Oh. Very interesting there. We're going to go ahead and jump into this second game. I did not realize it had moved to a best of 3. Because we only have 4 participants, we decided to go ahead and do best of 3. Time is not a huge constraint since there's only 4 players. Get some extra games in. Have a little bit more fun with the format. Alright, so we are going into game 2 here. This is Willyazza versus Gill. This is Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX versus Dialga V-Star. Dialga V-Star pretty convincingly took that first game with its attack. So we shall see if Urshifu can come back from this. Can it take game 2 and force a third game? If Gill can manage to not start Lapras. Why did I say something? Started Lapras again. This is a very familiar start. Alright, we see a Zelf come down. I'm going to use that Time Walk Poke Power to search the prize cards for a Pokemon and then trade a card from those prize cards with the card in the hand. Lapras just does not want to cooperate today. That is 2 starts in a row with a Lapras. Lapras has the support navigation Poke Power that, like Tapu Lele GX, Jirachi EX, and Luminion V, has the capacity to allow you to search your deck for a supporter card and put it into your hand. This is the OG version of that effect. See a Luxury Ball and a Level Ball come down. Luxury Ball grabbing that Umbreon and Darkrai GX. The Level Ball grabbing a Baltoy, perhaps. And then a Urshifu also coming down. Float Stone on that Lapras, switching the Umbreon and Darkrai GX to the active spot. Right, Willie started their turn. Drawing a card using that Luxury Ball. Searching for a Pokemon. Have to imagine this might be a Zacian V. We don't have that ability lock in place this game, so the ability on Zacian would be available to Willie. Could choose instead to go for that Shaman and preemptively grab it to their hand if they already have a Zacian. Don't know if that's worth grabbing at this point, this early, but it is a possibility. Otherwise, might look for a Zelf. A Zelf would fish something out of the prize card, Pokemon out of the prize cards, if one of the key components of the deck is prized. Going to go for that Lapras. Use Lapras's support navigation Poke Power to get a supporter card from the deck. Getting a Colress. Colress, a card from the Plasma series. Shuffle your hand into your deck and then draw a number of cards equal to the number of benched Pokemon. So at this point that would be 5, so it's going to be 1 for every single Pokemon on a bench. I'm going to play that Trainer's Mail. Looking at the top 4 cards and choosing a field. Okay, choosing a trainer card except for Trainer's Mail. Putting it in the other hand, grab the field blower off of that, discarding all the cards they've played. Attaching a Metal Energy to that Origin Form Dialga V. Okay, making it possible to use the first attack, which is the Metal Coating. Don't have any energy in the discard pile at the moment, and the turn has been moved over to Gill. That Silent Lab is now down. That will shut off any Zacian. Looks like Gill just passed. Very interesting. Really scooping up that Lapras with Mr. Briny. We're going to see a Marnie from Willy. Field Blower getting rid of that Float Stone on the Lapras, and the Marnie actually comes down. So both players are going to shuffle their hands and place the shuffled hand on the bottom of their deck. Player who played Marnie will draw 5 cards, and the other player will draw 4. See a Trainer's Mail come down. Again, looking at the top 4 cards of the deck, choosing a trainer card that is not Trainer's Mail. We see Quick Ball selected, so really going to go after a Quick Ball. Oh, that Field Blower also got rid of that Silent Lab. That is worth noting. Did not catch that initially, so that is very, very good. Willy choosing to grab a Crobat V to draw some more cards. Since Silent Lab is gone, Crobat V will actually work, and Dark Asset will be able to draw cards. We see an Energy come down, and the Origin Form Dialga V-Star come down, so that they can draw 5 cards from their hand. We see an Acrobatic also drop. Some crazy levels of draw right now. Acrobatic, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 into your hand and discard the other card. And another Trainer's Mail drop. And we see another acrobat. I'm going to play that acrobat looks like. Looking at the top two cards, choosing one, discarding one. Drawing through that deck as quickly as possible to get what they are looking for. Imagine they're needing a metal Pokemon to throw on the bench, some metal saucers, and that Shaman to rearrange the energy to get that Dialga fully up to power. Alright. Doing 160 to the Umbreon and Darkrai. And it is Gill's turn. Gill dropping an Ultra Ball. Discarding a Versus Seeker and a Raihan to get a Claydol. Claydol, again, that Cosmic Power. Oh, not using the Cosmic Power, choosing instead to put a Float Stone on that Umbreon. I am... What's going on here? How did they draw 6? They put another card in and I missed. May choose up to 2. Okay, I am misreading Claydol. You can put 1 down and be fine. That is fine. This is why we read the cards. Claydol is even better than I expected. Okay, so Claydol says, once during your turn before your attack, you may choose up to 2 cards from your hand and put them on the bottom of your deck. In any order, if you do, draw cards to 6 cards in your hand. So they put 1 card at the bottom of the deck and then drew 6 cards. Very, 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 very powerful effect. For some reason, I was under the impression that you had to have 2 in hand to use it. You do not have to have 2 in hand. All right, we're going to see a Marnie come down. Marnie, again, both players will shuffle. Ooh, is not dropping just yet, just revealing it. We see double Rainbow Energy drop onto that Dialga, using double Rainbow to be a double metal, basically. Making sure that Dialga is fully powered up for its Chronos, Star Chronos rather, V-Star power. See Field Lore come down. Quick Ball. Discarding Trainer's Mail. I had to guess for another Dialga. Okay. Getting that follow-up Pokemon ready to go. My double Rainbow Energy is extremely good in this deck. That double Rainbow definitely super useful for Dialga V-Star. Double Rainbow Energy can be attached only to an evolved Pokemon that is not a Pokemon X. While in play, Double Rainbow Energy provides every type of energy, but provides only 2 energy at a time. And it has no other effect except providing energy. Damage done to your opponent's Pokemon by the Pokemon that Double Rainbow Energy is attached to is reduced by 10 before applying weakness and resistance. And when Double Rainbow Energy is attached to a Pokemon that is no longer an evolved Pokemon, it is discarded. So again, super strong, get that minus 10 damage, but you do have that double rainbow effect. So it is pretty strong. Ultra Balling away a Computer Search and a Float Stone. That is a bold discard. Did see that Zacian V come down. Okay, it looks like they played the computer search. That is less bold. So computer searching for that metal saucer. Playing the Verse Seeker down. Getting most likely... what? Drew 6. So not Colress. Discarding the Celebration Salga. To get Radiant Greninja. And that is going to be a knockout. That Urshifu going down. Willie takes 3 prize cards. Still saying this matchup sucks. Should have played the boring broken deck. Chose instead to play Urshifu, and he's going to go. Gill's going to go and scoop it up, and we're going to go to round 2 here shortly. Okay, so we have. We're going to see some interesting stuff. Slight versus Willie, and Mark versus Gill. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the match with Slight. I'm very interested in the deck that they've brought today. Let's see that come up here in just a moment. Games are getting set up. Reminding players to check in so they do not get losses for that. Waiting for Slighty to join this game. There we go. All right. So we're going to see this here in just a second. Going to go ahead and watch this as a spectator. So both players have created their own games. Very fun. And they both left those games. Oh, there we go. All right, we're going to go ahead and spectate the game between Slighty and Willie. So this is going to be Mew Prime versus Dialga V-Star. This should be an extremely interesting match. Both of these players won their previous rounds 2-0. Willie choosing to go first, commenting, I'll go first and regret it. So should be very interesting here. All right. We see Willie starting that Dialga from Celebrations, and Slidey starting an Oranguru from Sun and Moon. Dialga has the Temporal Backflow attack. Put a card from your discard pile into your hand. And Metal Blast, 60 plus, 20 more for each metal energy attached to this Pokemon. So basically the same attack as that Dialga V-Star, but with a lower ramp. The Time Walk on the Azelf failed. We're attaching to that active Dialga. And passing. Alright, Slidey going with that Pokédex. Pokédex says look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose one of them, and put them into your hand. Put the other card on the bottom of your deck. And we see an Azelf come down, another Time Walk. Looking into those prize cards for a Pokemon of interest. What is a swap there? We see Mew Prime come down. Mew Prime Lost Link Pokebody says Mew can use the attacks of all of the Pokemon in the Lost Zone, both yours and your opponent's. You still need the necessary energy to use each attack. You also see Dimension Valley come down, a stadium card that says each Psychic Pokemon's attacks, both yours and your opponent's, cost colorless energy less. Want to see a research? I'm going to 7 off that. Lost Blundering Nagaguz and a Machamp. So the Naganadel Guzzlord from Cosmic Eclipse has Jet Pierce for Psychic, Dark, and Colorless. It's 180. And then Chaotic Order GX. When all of your prize cards face up, those prize cards remain face up for the rest of the game. This Pokemon has at least one extra psychic energy attached to it, and one extra darkness energy attached to it. In addition to this attack's cost, which is just colorless, take 2 prize cards. And then that Machamp has 3 different attacks. For a single fighting energy, take out 40 damage if the defending Pokemon isn't an evolved Pokemon. That Pokemon is knocked out instead of damaged by this attack. So basically, if it's a basic, it's KO'd. And then Hurricane Punch, 30 times, flip 4 coins. I don't think you're going to be using anything but Take Out. Take Out is an extremely potent attack. Definitely makes this deck pretty dang strong against big basics, making tag teams in general feel pretty bad. It's only just a single fighting energy for that Machamp's attack. Attach a fighting energy rather to one of the Mew Primes and switch it to the active spot, and that will be that. Looks like Slidey may have misplayed. Played that Oricorio down. Says this deck is not prepared to start a ringer. Well, that is why, thankfully, we are playing a best of 3 Swiss today instead of best of 1. We can see this deck do its thing. Turn goes over to Willy. Gets a chance. Uses that Colress to draw 5. Colress is discarded. We get that fresh hand of 5 cards. We see a Metal Energy come down onto that active Dialga. A Field Blower drop and blow away that Dimension Valley. And the turn goes back to Slidey. Slidey's going to draw a card to start their turn. And then we're going to see Mew do Mew things. See Dimension Valley go back down and a Mysterious Treasure, discarding a Lost Blender. For Tapu Lele. Very, very interesting. Playing that Tapu Lele down for Wonder Tag. Wonder Tag allows you to search your deck for a supporter card and put it into your hand. I'm going to search for that Mr. Brini's Compassion, probably to scoop up that Ringer if I had to guess, to get that out of the active spot. I'm going to use Instruct first. Then play the Brini's Compassion. Play that Oranguru back down and Instruct one more time to draw one more card. And we get a Pokédraw Plus to draw a card. Are we going to see that Fighting Energy to use that Machamp's attack? Does not look like it. Nope, we see a turn pass. Alright, so both these decks are struggling to do what they're supposed to do at this point. Missing a card or two here and there. Dialga is failing to get its V-Star power off, and Slidey failing to get the, or Mew rather, failing to get the energy attachment necessary to take the KO against that Dialga. We see Willy once again playing a Colress. Now shuffle draw 6 for a draw instead of draw 5 because of that extra Pokemon down on the bench. Tapu Lele makes it the 6. We finally see the Origin Form Dialga V come down, getting a little closer to being where it needs to be to do some damage. And we see a Crobat come down for 2. So that is Dark Asset. Draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. You can't play more than 1 Dark Asset in a turn. Just really digging for cards there. Trying to get set up. Slidey only needs a single card to do some serious damage to Willy. Can gust up that Dialga and then knock it out with a single Fighting Energy. We shall see. Willy says, I'm infinite, baby. Prism Energy coming down on that Mew. That's the Fighting Energy that we needed there. Fighting Energy going to be very good there. So that Prism Energy, for those who are unfamiliar, this card provides colorless energy, and if the Pokemon this card's attached to is a basic Pokemon, it provides every type of energy, but provides only one at a time. So right now, because it is attached to Mew Prime, it is a Fighting Energy at this moment, because I imagine that's the energy he wants it to be. So it will be able to copy that Machamp's attack in the Lost Zone. Again, that attack has Take Out. So because that Dialga is not an evolved Pokemon, it's just an instant knockout. Sending the Azelf to the active spot to take the heat. Has that Flipstone on it. And Willy starts the turn. I'm going to do an Evolve into that Origin Form Dialga V-Star. Playing an Ultra Ball. Discarding a Guzma and a Colress. Very interesting. For another Crobat. There's going to be some very juicy prizes for those Mews. See a Metal Saucer come down, attach another Metal Energy to that origin form. Dialga V-Star on the bench. It's going to be 3 now on that Dialga. Just needs 2 more to get that Star Chronos. Star Chronos will devastate Mew. All right, we see that Crobat come down for the draw 6, or draw 5 actually. I already had one card in hand. Playing that Trainer's Mill. Looking at the top 4 for a trainer card that is not Trainer's Mill. Probably hoping to find another Saucer. Judging by the delay in selection, it does not look like there is one there. Well, they're saying trying to figure out how you can KO the origin form Dialga V-Star. Slide's deck very reliant on hitting out the basic Pokemon with that takeout. Probably another version or another attack that they can use, though. I don't think it's going to be quite that simple. We do see that computer search come down, discarding Trainer's Mail and a Metal Energy. Searching for maybe a Metal Saucer. Here we go. We see that double rainbow energy come down on the Dialga. That's a better play. Definitely way better than getting a Saucer. Do not get the Saucer. Get the double rainbow. The double rainbow does go down on that Dialga V-Star. And we see a Versus Seeker come down for Colress. Imagine there's going to be a retreat on the Zelf, and that Dialga V-Star is going to go to the active spot and take the knockout with Star Chronos. We see a Luxury Ball come down. Luxury Ball looking for any Pokemon that is not a Pokemon level X and putting it into the hand. So we see a Dialga V, getting another Dialga ready to attack if necessary. Dialga V coming down on the bench. Professor's Letter. Searching for 2 basic energy cards. We're going to see 2 metal, I would have to guess. 2 metal energy coming in from that Professor's Letter, going to Willy's hand. And there's the retreat on the Azelf. Dialga V-Star is going to go to the active spot and take the KO on that Mew. A very easy KO, especially with that Star Chronos. But that Star Chronos is going to give Willy an extra turn against Slidey, which means he'll be able to take a second knockout. So Willy drawing a card for that second turn after Star Chronos. Starting the second turn. That V-Star power has now been used. We see the Dialga V-Star come down on that Dialga V on the bench, and another energy drop onto that particular Pokemon, getting it ready to take some KOs against this Mew Prime. So we're going to see some potentially interesting things happen here. We see a Lapras come down. Support navigation, again, searching your deck for a supporter card. I have to imagine we're going to see a Boss's Orders or a Lysander. Guzma. Very interesting. So Guzma switching that active, the Lele to, switching that Lele to the active spot, pivoting with that Azelf. If I had to guess, to switch the Dialga back to the bench and then back to the active spot. Yep, into Azelf. That is exactly what happened. Field Blower blowing away the Dimension Valley, and then we're going to see a KO with Metal Blast. That Tapu Lele is gone, and Willy is going to take 2 more prize cards. We see Luxury Ball come down. And see Mew come down from that. And Raihan is going to be used to attach a Darkness Energy to the active Mew. Very, very interesting. If we see another energy attached to that Mew, we can get a double prize pull. That would be very, very good indeed. Going to be using, if they can get the extra energy on there, they can use, or make use rather, of that Naganadel and Guzzlord's GX attack, Chaotic Order GX. With that extra energy, that would be, or with extra 2 energy technically, that would be a choosing a different card instead of what they picked originally. Anyway, the that GX attack would do a. There we are. Okay, so that's the energy instead. So Raihan getting the Dimension Valley from the deck to reduce the attack cost of Chaotic Order GX to nothing, which means that Prism and Darkness are now the extra energy necessary to do the GX. So that's going to reveal all of Slidy's prize cards, and he's just going to take 2 of them as he pleases. Prize trade is now even. Took a Fighting Energy and a Pokédrawer Plus out of those prize cards. All right, Willy going to start their turn, drawing a card. This could be very, very interesting. I'm not entirely sure how Slidy can deal with this. Going to have to gust around these evolved Dialga, have to knock out those Crobats to get those last prize cards. Picking a Lapras and a Crobat, but either way, a Gust will have to be involved in order to KO with that that Machamp's attack. Do see, yeah, definitely going to be the takeout that will be used there. No other attacker really in the Lost Zone at the moment. Mew could theoretically use Jet Pierce for 180 to do some damage, but I think this Mew is as good as dead, unfortunately, so that energy will not be in play. We do see a Radiant Greninja come off the Quick Ball? Yes, off the Quick Ball. Not sure what's being discarded for that Radiant Greninja. There's a card down there, I just don't see what it is. Looks like a Metal Energy. Alrighty, so we see Mr. Brainy's Compassion. We're going to see that Azelf scooped up. And Radiant Greninja come down in its place. Gonna draw some cards off of that Concealed Cards ability. Concealed Cards says discard an energy card from your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards. I see that Metal Energy discarded and draw 2. And we see an Acrobike. Lapras goes to the discard pile. And we see another Acrobike. Again, look at the top 2 cards of the deck. Choose one and discard the other card. Discarding a Metal Saucer. Decides, you know what? Don't think I need that Metal Saucer anymore. I'm going to go ahead and discard it. Ooh, and we see Parallel City come down. Using Parallel City to remove those Crobat Vs, taking away Slidy's option to take those knockouts now and be forced to take Radiant Greninja, Lapras, and a knockout on one of those Dialgas. That is going to be quite a potent problem for Slidey to overcome in order to take this game. Slidey's going to need to get some other attack in that lost zone in order to have any chance, I think. Set Oricorio going to the active spot, probably being used as a sacrifice. I see a Pokédraw, a double Pokédraw plus. So search for any 2 cards from the deck, put them into the hand. We're going to see a Rescue Carrier getting back a Mew. And the Mew. Rescue Carrier pulling 2 Pokemon with 90 HP or less from the discard pile and putting them into your hand. Both of those Mews are going to be dropped onto the bench. We see a Guzma come down to take out the Greninja. So Guzma going to switch the Mew to the active spot and the Greninja to the active spot as well. This is like a supercharged boss's orders if you're not familiar with the card. Basically, not only do you choose your new opponent or your opponent's new active Pokemon, you also choose your own new active Pokemon. You're going to see an Instruct for 1 card. So that Greninja is going to be KO'd now. But take out instant KO on any basic Pokemon. And goodbye, Greninja. So he takes an additional prize card and just has to take 2 prize cards now to take the game. But that Dialga V-Star is going to go back to the active spot. And going to KO that Mew. So we see Quick Ball, discarding a Quick Ball for the Quick Ball. Pulling a Zacian V out of the deck. Choosing to put it in the hand instead of moving it to the bench. Very interesting. Moving the Shaman, or putting the Shaman down with Celebration Wind. Celebration Wind allows them to rearrange the energy however they see fit. So at this point, there are enough prize cards that Mew can take with that take out ability, or take out attack rather, for Slidey to win the game. But moving 1 metal energy onto that Shaman, and then using Marnie. Fresh hands for both players. And then that's a KO on that active Mew. So Willie going to go down to just 1 prize card remaining. With 23 minutes left in the round. This is still game 1. It's crazy. They're already halfway through the round. We see Noivern GX come down. Go to that hand. I have to imagine that Noivern GX is going to get lost zoned here. Pokédwarf draw for 1. Ultra Balling away. We just Ultra Ball away the that we did just Ultra Ball away that Noivern. So that is no longer an option. The lost zone, unfortunately. Okay, we see Unknown Q come down onto that Oricorio. Unknown Q's Poké Power says, once during your turn before your attack, if Unknown Q is on your bench, you may discard all cards attached to it and play it as a Pokemon tool card. As long as Unknown Q is attached to a Pokemon, you play 1 colorless less to retreat that Pokemon. See a Prism Energy come down onto a benched Mew. I have to wonder if perhaps there is a Guzma in the hand right now. We see a Lost Blender. Moving a Mysterious Treasure and a Versus Seeker to the Lost Zone. Not quite what I was expecting. Drawing that one card off of the Lost Blender. Attaching to that bench Mew is very bold, but will it pay off? So without Guzma in hand, this is going to be a very dead Mew in the active spot with that energy attachment already out. Ooh, and we're going to go to game 2. Whiffed the card. All right, so game 2. Dialga taking game 1 quite convincingly. Slidey choosing to go first this time. See Dialga V as the starting Pokemon for Willy. Players are getting set up. And we see the active Mew. See a benched Mew. Very, very good to see. Just need to get some attackers into that lost zone to guarantee they're available for Mew Prime's Poke Body rather, to copy. I'm going to play that Crobat down to draw 4. Dimension Valley also coming down to reduce the attack cost of Mew's attacks by 1 colorless energy. Prism Energy coming down on the benched Mew. And we see a Luxury Ball. So that's a search for a Pokemon that's not level X, so long as you don't have a Luxury Ball in your discard pile. If you have a Luxury Ball in your discard pile, you can't play Luxury Ball. So, super strong effect, but it does have that limitation. But if you're not after Pokemon level X, it's just a search for whatever Pokemon you have one time in a game, which is pretty great. They're looking for a Pokemon. I have to imagine if they have a Lost Blender in hand, they are probably searching for that Machamp. If they don't, oh, they are not. They're searching for that Oranguru. Interesting. The alternative would be the Azelf. Oranguru is coming down. Perhaps they have a way to thin their hand to draw cards off of Instruct. Nope, just a pass. All right, it is Willy's turn. Acrobike. Draw, draw, draw. This is the name of the game for Dialga getting those cards out and into play. Choosing to discard a Field Blower off the Acrobike and playing down a Trainer's Mail. Mew does not have any retreat cost. It can retreat out and become, this one can become the attacker of this next turn. If Willy does not get that Dialga out of the active spot, and if Slidey can get a Machamp into the Lost Zone, that Dialga V is a very dead Dialga V. See another Dialga come down, energy attachment off of the Metal Saucer. And we see a Parallel City. And we're saying facing the Slidey instead of facing Willy, so going to force Slidey to stay at just 3 Pokemon on the bench. See another acrobike. Going second as an evolving big basic deck, like, or an evolving, well, going second as a deck that has big basics that even if they evolve, like these 2 prize Dialga Vs, feels very bad against Mew. If that Mew can get that Machamp into the Lost Zone, that's just an instant free 2 prize cards. And against something like one of the tag teams, it's an instant free 3 prize cards. And they don't evolve, which is absolutely devastating. We haven't seen any Guardian, Gardevoir Sylveon GX that could be quite good in this format too. Probably because of Mew Prime here. Unfortunately, that Lost Zone attack with Take Out from Machamp is just an instant KO against any basic Pokemon. And since Willy has gone second this game, there is no way for Willy to evolve these Dialgas before Mew can attack. So we're going to see it pass over to Slidey. Slidey is going to play an Ultra Ball, discarding on a Zelf and a Mr. Mime to get the Machamp. Just needs the Lost Blender to get that into the Lost Zone, and there is a Lost Blender. Lost Blender going to kick that Machamp to the Lost Zone, and along with the Professor's Research, drawing a card off of that Lost Blender, and 1 off of a Ringaroo, or 2 off of a Ringaroo. We're going to see look at 2 cards from Pokedex, put 1 into the hand and the other onto the bottom of the deck. See an energy on that active Mew, and Take Out will knock out that Origin Form Dialga V, an instant 2 prize cards for Slidey. Dialga V, the other Dialga V going to the active spot there. Willy starting their turn, praying for that Origin Form Dialga V-Star to take away Mew Prime's options in terms of instant KOing the Dialga. You're going to see a discard of a Float Stone for a Quick Ball. Searching the deck probably for a Crobat. Yep, for a Crobat. Draw a few more cards. Desperately searching for that evolution Pokemon to avoid the KO. We do see a Luxury Ball come down that will allow Willy to grab that Dialga V-Star and evolve that active Pokemon to make it so that Take Out does not just devastate the deck. There we go. It is now an evolution Pokemon. Cannot be instantly knocked out by Take Out. However, that Crobat is still juicy on the bench. That is another 2 prize cards just sitting there and waiting to be eaten. We see Colress come down. That's going to be a Shuffle Draw 4. So there are 4 fresh cards in Willy's hand. We see an Acrobike. Choosing to discard another Acrobike off of that Acrobike. Do have to wonder what they chose. That Metal Blast is going to knock out that Mew. When you only have 60 HP, you go fast. All right, Unknown Q going to be attached to that Oranguru. Another Mew Prime coming down with a Prism Energy attached. Going to see a Versa Seeker probably for a Guzma. There's the Guzma. Guzma's going to pull up that Crobat V on the bench. And then there's no real need to switch the Mew. They're identical in this particular case, but that will swap the Mew. They're going to go ahead and do it anyway just to be clear. So that Mew is moving to the active spot. And that Crobat is being forced into the active spot. That is still an instant KO against that Crobat with that Take Out. Rangaroo going to go ahead and pull an extra card into the hand before that knockout happens. And Take Out. There is the KO against that Crobat, and yet another 2 prize cards for Slidey. See a Versus Seeker come down and a Raihan. Attaching a Metal Energy to the active Dialga V-Star. Probably searching for that double Rainbow Energy to guarantee the double KO against this Mew. There's the double Rainbow attachment. With no other Pokemon in play, Willy is now forcing Slidey to eat through this Dialga V-Star. And there's Star Chronos instantly KOing that active Mew Prime. And now forcing a second turn out of Willy. So can he just take another knockout? I think that Crobat is dead. Let's see. Metal Blast 40 times. There's 5 energy attached. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Times 4. 240 minus 10 for that double Rainbow. That's plenty of damage to KO that Crobat. See Lapras come down with support navigation. Going to see a Guzma. Probably to take out that Mew. Taking out that Prism energy at the same time. Do need a way to retreat to Lapras, so perhaps not going to play it just yet. See another Metal Energy come down for that. Wait. Oh, okay. I see what's happened. I was confused for a second there. All right, so the Guzma play did happen. There was a manual retreat on the Dialga to switch into the Lapras, and then Guzma gusted up the Mew to knock it out, and in the process pulled that Dialga V-Star back to the active spot, so that the damage or the energy was on there to knock it out. So that Mew is now out of play. Slightly playing that mysterious treasure down to probably to search for another Mew. Are there any Mews left in deck at this point? There are 1, 2, 3 in the discard pile, so if there's one prized, it's not going to be available. I think Slidey would probably have already checked the prize cards at this point. I only have 2 left, so the chances of it being prized are pretty low at this point, too. It says maybe he won't have one of the 50 win conditions. Got that awkward hand right now, Slidey says. That Lele and the Raihan. Let's see, Oricorio and its Vital Dance ability. Vital Dance is basically Professor's letter on an ability. Searching for a Darkness Energy and just the Darkness Energy, it looks like. And then playing that Raihan. Attachment on that Crobat V with Raihan and the manual attachment from hand. Searching off of the Raihan to get a card from the deck. We're going to see Target Whistle as the card off the Raihan, putting a basic Pokemon from the discard pile on the opponent's bench. Very similar rather to card in the current standard format. The name I'm blanking on for some reason. Is going to be Echoing Horn. I don't know why I was blanking on that. And then we see the Venomous Fang on that Dialga, doing a whopping 70 damage plus 10 from the poison for 80. Willie looks like he's about to scoop it there. What have we? Some interesting banter between the players at the moment, going back and forth. Gill declaring Slidey the winner of JIBX number 6. Both players having some impressively awkward hands at the moment. The only problem with a format like this is you have so many options that you can't play them all, and if you do, you have weird hands like this. I mean, every deck has weird hands, obviously, but you're more likely to have weird hands if you have too many options. All right, we see the Lapras come down for the Support Navigation Pokepower. We're going to look for a Marnie. Both players are going to get fresh hands there, but that's what you need sometimes. That Dimension Valley is going first. Greninja being played down. Trying to give themselves some options once that Marnie goes down. Just blowing away the stadium. Does not want him recovering that unknown Q. Leaving that unknown Q attached to the Oranguru. And there's the Marnie. So both players are going to get fresh hands here. We have just 3 minutes left in this round, just a little over 3 minutes left in the round. This is game 2 of the series right now. Just some impressively fun games to see here. What a good hand, Willie says. Can't be. Playing a quick ball and discarding the origin form Dialga V-Star. Failing the search, and then drawing with Crobat V, drawing 4 cards off of that Dark Asset ability, and then playing concealed cards on top of it to discard and draw 2 with Radiant Greninja. Using computer. Jeez, what a busted hand. Using computer search, discarding Shaman and Professor's Letter to search the deck for any card that they need right now. Going with that Parallel City to knock off the Crobats from the bench, making it more difficult for Slidey to take the game. And there's a knockout on that Crobat. Very, very close game with just over a minute left. See another Mew come back down. Slidey needs to take 2 prize cards, and Willie needs to take 1. Prism Energy rather come down on that Mew Prime. Drawing a card off at Pokédraw Plus. Probably hoping for some way to retreat that Oricorio to get some sort of attack off with Mew Prime. With just 3 cards in hand and very few actions being taken right now, it does look like this is going to be... Yep, there we go. That's time. So Slidey is going to be turn 0. All right, we see Guzma, so there's the switch. Guzma gonna make it to KO that Lapras, but that Dialga is going to come back to the active spot and just KO the Mew. This game does appear to be over. Alright, so Dialga has taken that game. I believe that's 2-0. Oof. Some very, very good games there. Love the back and forth between these two decks. Right, so that is a double win for Willie. It looks like. All right. So with that, we do have end of the round, and we're going to go into the final round of this tournament. This is the final round of Swiss. All right, we are going to jump into the only game for this round. We had a player drop. Unfortunately, they felt like their deck just did not function for this tournament. All right, we're going to watch this last game between Slight and Gill. Both players are 1-1 at the moment. I believe Willie just has the whole tournament locked, because they're going to be the only 3-0 player. But Slight and Gill are going to be deciding who gets second place off of this particular match. And I have just jumped into the wrong game, it looks like. Yep, I sure have. So we're going to Slight and Gill. That's the one. All right, there we go. This is with Gill and starting Lapras. Gill, you need to stop starting Lapras. This is the third game I've seen that you've started Lapras. Gill, talking about how that Lapras is yet again in the active spot at the start of the game. This is the third time I've seen it. It's kind of amusing. All right, we're going to see the Green's Exploration come down. Probably looking for a Battle VIP pass and something else. Maybe double Battle VIP pass. We'll see. For Pokédraw Plus. Okay. So must have a Pokédraw Plus already in hand. Yep, we sure do. So we're going to see the Battle VIP Pass and the Pokédraw Plus. So Battle VIP Pass, search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon, throw them on the bench. Pokédraw Plus, search your deck for 2 cards and put them into your hand. See that big cluster of cards discarded. See a Floatstone on that Lapras, getting it out of the active spot as soon as possible. Discarding 2 cards, looks like a Faba and a Versus Seeker from the hand to make use of an Ultra Ball to get a Rapid Strike Urshifu V down. This is going to be absolutely devastating if Slidey can manage to get a Machamp into the Lost Zone. because with that unknown Q on the Zelf, there is going to be an easy retreat there. Gill says, wait, I grabbed the wrong guy. I'm assuming it meant the wrong Dialga, but I'm not sure. Nope, that can't even be the case. Bit of a discussion. Gill intended to get something else that was not Urshifu, asking Slutty if they're able to go ahead and change that choice. Slutty agreeing to let them change the choice. Choosing instead to forget a ball toy. Attaching a fighting energy to the benched Umbreon and Darkrai GX. And using Dark Moon GX. So Dark Moon GX will prevent this Mew deck from being able to lost zone anything, because Dark Moon GX says your opponent can't play any trainer cards from their hand during their next turn. So with that, that means Lost Blender is not an available option for Slidey. No trainer cards. So that Lele is going to get a supporter, but it won't be able to be used. Getting that Raihan. See a Claydol come down. A card down at bottom of the deck and draw 5. See a Level Ball come down for another ball toy. This Dialga G is pretty interesting with that Deafen attack. Deafen is going to probably be used this turn. I would see the level X. Level X has to be played in the active spot. So each Pokemon, so with Time Crystal's Pokebody, each Pokemon with yours and your opponent's, excluding Pokemon SP, can't use any Pokebodies. So Pokebodies are, of course, things like Lost Link, which means Mew just shuts off and now can't copy anything out of the Lost Zone. So we see Computer Search. I love that. It's like literally saying, are you literally just running this from you? Answer, yes, yes. Indeed, Level X Dialga is there just for the Mew matchup. Urshifu folds to Mew otherwise. Alright, we see that Umbreon and Darkrai come to the active spot. And there's going to be a pass. Gill says, Dialga is why I played this over the actually good deck that I had. Thought it would be funny. Ringaroo comes down. At this point, Slidey is very shut down. Has no access to the Pokebody to copy attacks from the Lost Zone. It's just, it's not looking good. That Dialga G level X is a very hard counter to Mew Prime. See Silent Lab also going down. Getting back Baba. Prism Energy being put into the Lost Zone. Got some Dialga level X. See a Windstorm picked up off of that greens. Windstorming the unknown G away. Windstorm functionally identical to Field Blower, which is a newer version of that same effect. And we see a pass to Slidey. Mr. Brand's Compassion scoops up that Mew. Lock up once again, preventing that Dialga G level X from being able to retreat. But the Guzma comes down and is going to force that Azelf out of the active spot, pulling that Oranguru to the active and pulling the Umbreon and Darkrai to the active spot in its place. Umbreon will take the KO against the Oranguru. And Versus Seeker coming out, pulling the Guzma. Needs a benched Pokemon. Hey. So Guzma says, switch one of your opponent's active Pokemon with their bench Pokemon. If you do, switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Let's see here. All right. Who played the Guzma? Guzma was played by Slidey, right? For the rest of this particular game to play out, a little bit of confusion there with the card. All right, so we are going to see a Pokedex and another Pokedex looking for an energy for that Zelf. Trying to keep that lockup in place. And a third Pokedex. This is insanity. Luxury ball come down. Searching for something. Situation is not super great right now. So Silent Lab is in place. So he's gonna have to bump that in order to use that Crobat. Baba going to spin away the float stone. Interesting choice. I think I would have gone with a Silent Lab, but Oh, the active flow system. Wow, I didn't even notice. This is a very intense and complex game that is hinging on a Zelf doing what it needs to do. So Gill will not be able to Guzma around this Azelf. And now with that float stone lost on that Dialga G level X, there's no way for him to retreat it without some sort of switch. And I don't believe that Gill plays any switches. You see a mime come down, making it possible for Guzman to play. Very interesting. So we're going to go ahead and switch players now. Gill attached a darkness energy to that Dialga G level X and then just passed. So we see Crobat come down and the Dimension Valley replace that Silent Lab, so Crobat can draw cards now, drawing 3 off that Crobat. Mysterious Treasure. Giving what? A Mew? Right. Oh, indeed. Azelf locking up that Dialga G once again, preventing it from retreating even with another energy. Is that a knockout? No way. Going to game 2. All right. Prized Brainy's Compassion. Brainy's Compassion would have been an out for that lockup play. Unfortunately, that was not a choice. I see a mulligan here on Slidy's side. Starting the Mew Prime. And starting Dialga G. That is not a card that Slutty is interested in seeing on Gill's side this go around. Azelf is going to drop, playing Time Walk Poke Power rather, looking in the prize cards for a Pokemon, and swapping a card in the hand for that Pokemon. Failing Time Walk. All right, we see the Machamp come off of that Ultra Ball. And already we see a Lost Blender pushing both the Nagaguz and the Machamp into the Lost Zone. And a pass. Gill's going to use Green's Exploration. I'm assuming for a Battle VIP pass and a Poké Drawer, but we shall see. For a Warp Point. for Silent Lab. Oh, Silent Lab's already available. Using the Battle VIP Pass. Getting a Baltoy. And Umbreon and Darkrai. Very interesting innovation from Gill in this list this time around. Umbreon and Darkrai GX was not part of this Urshifu list last tournament, so this is a new innovation. Pretty good one, honestly. Prevents that that trainer play this turn. However, with the two Pokemon already in the Lost Zone, it may not matter quite as much. Although there is unfortunately no way for Sluddy to get the Mew now into the active spot without a trainer card. Which is maybe a lot. And I'm just going to see a quick pass. Green's Exploration. And a level ball. So we get that float stone and level ball off the greens. Attaching a Rapid Strike energy to that benched Urshifu V. And then using Claydol's Cosmic Power Poke Power to draw 5 cards from the deck. Playing an Ultra Ball here to get the Dialga G level X back out. And most likely going to retreat out of the... Yeah, there we are. There's the retreat on the Umbreon Darkrai, and the Dialga G level X is now active, shutting off that Mew. This pretty much turns this matchup into an auto win for Urshifu here. That tech is extremely potent against Mew. Alright, so now the turn moves to Slidey. It is indeed Slidey's turn. Slidey has drawn a card. Trying to decide how to get out of this chaos. Drawing a card off of that Poké Drawer, and then using Professor's Research to ditch the hand and draw 7 new cards. See a Prism Energy on that Azelf, and we're going to see a Lockup play again. So right now, Slidey is up 1-0 against Gill in the series, using that Azelf last game to just completely lock him up. And once again, we see that Lockup. Azelf proving to be quite an MVP in this particular matchup. See Azelf come down on Gill's side, looking through the prize cards for any Pokemon that happens to be in those prize cards and trading a card in the hand for one of those Pokemon, but there is not, or is not a Pokemon that they want in the prize cards. Just going to use Lapras instead. So we're going to see Support Navigation, Guzma coming down. Putting that Urshifu into the active spot to take the KO. Oh no, not the Urshifu. We're taking the Umbreon instead. Perhaps retreating out of it with that Float Stone. There we go. Alright, we're going to go to game 3. Double KO with Urshifu is absolutely murderous. All right, so game 3. Both these players are now 1-1 in this series. Both Urshifu and Mew have taken a game each. This is Mew Prime versus Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX in the Eternal format. Eternal, if you are not familiar, is a version of Unlimited that has been made more playable by a ban list. Alright, so we see the... we see a Lapras start for the 4th time from Gill. And we see Azelf come down for that time walk. Searching for something out of those prize cards. Looks like that could be a pass. Uh-oh. This could be bad. Alright, so it was an accidental draw there. Putting it back on top of the deck. So he says I have one viable play in this hand. Alright, ditching the hand for the research. Jeez. Nuking that hand. Absolutely nuking that hand. Getting 7 new cards off the research, hoping to find that Machamp and the Lost Splendor to KO that Lapras. Or Corio's Vital Dance, getting an energy out of the deck there. Now we do see an Ultra Ball come down, discarding a Faba and a Darkness Energy. Probably to find a Crobat. Interesting. Using Mysterious Treasure to discard Professor Oak's New Theory. Professor Oak's New Theory is a supporter card that allows you to shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 new cards, identical to the more recent Cynthia, if you're familiar with Cynthia. You see a Zelf come off of that Mysterious Treasure. Zelf's Time Walk is going to be used here. Zelf has been an MVP in this matchup. Revealing the Tapu Lele GX out of the prize cards, putting a card from the hand to replace that Lele, and putting a Lele into the hand. I'm going to go ahead and play down that Crobat and draw 4. I see a Pokémon Plus for 1. Digging pretty desperately for something, but not getting it. Instead, choosing to use Mew's See Off attack, which says search your deck for a Pokemon and put it in a lost zone. Shuffle your deck afterward. Alright, so that does get the Machamp into the lost zone. Gill says he is in top deck mode right now, hoping for something great off that draw. Gill says, this ain't it, Chief. Will we see a scoop here? Are we going to see it, try to see it played out? Gill says this hand is unplayable. Yeah, either pass the turn over or scoop. Which we got? Gill says I have one play I can make. Dropping the Dialga G level X, attaching a fighting energy to Lapras, and then using Windstorm to get rid of Dimension Valley. That Guzma is going to pull up that Dialga G. And that's going to be a scoop. Let's see, let's look at the prize cards. Gill's prize cards were 2 Pokédraw Plus, Darkness Energy, an Ultra Ball, a Rapid Strike Energy, and a Guzma. It's pretty rough. That is the only Guzma that Gill plays too, which is a bit rough. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Alright, so that is going to be the series. That means that Mew Prime has taken second place. So first place was Origin Form Dialga V-Star, and second place was Mew Prime. Alrighty. That is going to be the series, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It was a bit of a no finals today. Only 4 players today with the Limitless Tournament series. Unfortunately, we have a few more players with the Pesto-based tournament. It happens. That's fine. Still good, interesting games. Some very interesting decks from players today. Mew Prime, of course, very interesting in and of itself with that Machamp. Very, very cool. Very good to see some innovation from the Urshifu deck, running that Dialga G level X and that Umbreon and Darkrai. It's just cool to see when you have that many options available to you in the format, what you can do, not just to roll your opponent over, but to counter these crazy strategies that also pop up. Obviously, Urshifu was going to be a huge contender this particular series, and Mew was a good counter for it, right? Mew is hitting it for weakness. Mew is able to just mow things down if it needs to. Mew maybe would have been built differently specifically for Urshifu, but that Machamp, super effective against a lot of devastating cards. Cards that are Mew is I'm drawing a blank here. Mew is able to copy those attacks from the Lost Zone and just make it super strong. Slidey says, now it's my time to campaign for greens getting banned. It's actually really funny. I don't know that greens is actually that strong because you have to build your deck around being able to use it. So, and then Gill actually didn't win today either, even with that super strong engine. Very interesting. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.